Hello everybody, and welcome to another episode of Batman Reviews. This is a bit different. This is an idea that I want to test out, an idea that I'm very much interested in. I feel like it could be a very cool thing, but I feel like it has to be worked towards that. This is going to be edited and all of that. This is a live stream. This is happening live right now. Well, live in the past if you're watching it on YouTube. Now, this is a video game review, just like normal, except it's live. I'm going to be talking with chat to communicate with them, give it my opinions back and forth. They'll give their opinions to me, and, you know, we can have a civil discussion on a video game and our thoughts on it in, I don't know, a cool live stream manner. I feel like this could be a really good idea. But to be truthful, I think it's not going to be that great to start off. First off, I'm going to have to learn how to play a video game and review at the same time, which is going to be very difficult, especially since I decided to play PvP for some reason. But yeah, so the idea is to review a video game while playing live. To save my life a little bit with all the work that I have to do when it comes to editing, reviewing, all that kind of, you know, fancy stuff. I hate this game type, but I'll talk about that later. Now, besides saving me, you know, from editing and whatnot, it also allows for a little bit more interesting, thorough talk when it comes to a Let's Play. Or not a Let's Play, a review. Because usually on reviews, you know, it's your standard thing. It's your standard thing. You grab your game, you put it in the Xbox, you write your script, or, you know, whatever other console, you write your script, and then you just do your thing, and it's done. You write your script, and you talk about it, you upload it, and it's done. There's no real communication between, you know, you read the comments and whatever, you can see what people think and say, and you can reply to said comments, but there's no real, like, continuous conversation between the two, on what you think of the game itself. This way, I believe it'll be a really cool idea to get shit going. Obviously, it's not going to be super good the first time that I do it. This may take like a couple episodes to become like a really good idea. But I feel like I have a good idea coming. Now, let's get into the actual review. So today we're going to be talking about Destiny. Not Destiny itself, but the newest DLC, Rise of Iron. Which I think is a half-decent DLC that adds a decent amount to the game, but also takes away at times. So we'll begin talking about that in a minute. To begin with, Rise of Iron, it has a decent story, I'm not going to lie. It's a game that takes from the past experiences that Destiny has given out and expanded on them. Destiny, the original vanilla game, had no story, absolutely none at all, while House of Wolves and The Dark Below, the next two expansions, also didn't really add much to the game. But The Taken King is where Destiny, it feels like Bungie actually started to learn when it comes to storytelling, which is weird to say, seeing that they're the people who made Halo, probably some of the best storytelling FPS games that you can experience. So the fact that they're having issues with Destiny blows my mind. Maybe it's the whole MMO aspect, maybe it's something else, but it's something we're gonna have to figure out as time goes on, especially with Destiny 2 on the horizon. But like I was saying, The Taken King was Destiny's, you know, next step. It was a big update for them, and it really showed that they can do something with Destiny, bringing in tons of story and actual good cutscenes to the game that explain a little bit about what's going on. So for those of you that don't know, the story of the Rise of Iron follows the Iron Lords. They're characters that we already knew about in Destiny because of the Iron Banner event that's been happening since the game first came out. So it's actually kind of nice to look back into the past and learn where these characters came from and the lore of these characters. It's something that I'm very much enjoying when it came to the story, though it was very short. There is a reason for it being short, though. It's something that, you know, I'll talk about in a little bit. And it has a little bit of explaining when it comes to the rest of this, and I'm not going to use it as an excuse on this DLC, but at the same time, I'm not going to use it as a reason to... Basically, there's a reason for specific things, and I'll explain it in a bit. Now, obviously, with new Destiny DLC comes your basic strikes, raids, PvP maps, new weapons, and to be truthful, these are all fantastic. Sadly, it is a little bit short on the new missions, and it is a little bit short on the, it's a little bit short on the strike side, bringing only, I believe, one new strike, unless you count the 2 strikes that they also added, which are just revisions of old strikes. It's basically, you have your new strike, which is completely new, hasn't been like any of the old strikes, and then you have your old strikes that they just made new again. With the very first strike in the game had a boss called Septix Prime, and now there's a new boss called Septix Perfected, which takes that strike and then changes it up a bit. Not in a boring way like the Taken King did, just kind of adding new enemies, but completely changing how the area looks and the boss mechanics are, and a ton of different things in the strike, which I really enjoyed, and I would have loved to see them do with more strikes, but they really just didn't do. They only did it with 2 strikes, I believe. One with the Hive Abomination, or the original name for him being Fogoth for us original Destiny players, and Septix Prime. It's something, again, I wish they did with all of the strikes. There's even some strikes that haven't really been touched on since the very beginning of the game. Some strikes that don't even pop up in the playlist anymore, making it so a lot of the times you'll be playing the same strike over and over and over again, and not really experiencing anything new when it comes to the gameplay, which really sucks for some players. Especially players who like to play through strikes over and over again. You're going to see yourself playing a lot of the same strikes, and you're going to get bored of them very quickly. It would have been nice if they took all of the strikes and kind of, made them new again, and then brought them forward into this year of Destiny. Now, since this new Rise of Iron only really brought one new strike, and a few modified ones, it didn't really add much to the strike playlist, which for people who play strikes, again, it kind of sucks. It could have been done way better, and that's one of my gripes with this, it's one of my main gripes with Destiny Rise of Iron, is the lack of content. The missions that they added were very bland and boring. There wasn't really anything cool and exciting when it came to the mechanics that added anything new, like the Taken King did. It allowed you to enter a lot of the old raids and explore areas that you couldn't before unless you played the raids. But yeah, the story missions didn't add anything new like the Taken King missions did, having, a cool stealth mission where you actually had to stealthily find your way around one of the raid areas and get yourself to the end to steal some items from a few bosses. It was a cool concept that I really enjoyed, that they didn't bring back for this one, or do anything quite like it. It would have been nice to see some more missions where it wasn't just run to an area, kill some guys, repeat until everyone's dead. It's something that could have been worked upon. I like when FPS games go out of the norm and do something different and try to change things up to keep players entertained besides your standard, hi, we're gonna make you shoot a bunch of guys, and then when you shoot those guys and finish, you beat the level. Congratulations. Now, those are all things that I would have liked to see in the missions, and truthfully, some of the missions are pretty good, including the final boss mission. It's definitely a much better final boss than a lot of the other ones. Again, though, Taken King was a lot better overall for stories and strikes, which is a tad bit disappointing. So that's something to think about if you're deciding to purchase Rise of Iron. Though, if you're a Destiny player, you do need the game to actually level up or get any farther, which is the main gripe, but a lot of people know this. If you're buying and or playing an MMO, it's something you're going to just kind of have to expect. You're going to have to play by their rules, buy their DLC, and do all of their stuff to continue leveling up and becoming a better player. Now, with Rise of Iron, the light level has increased, meaning that you can level up and become an even better Guardian. Raising your light level up from 335 in the original game, well, not the original game, but the Taken King, up to the new 385 light level, which is actually a pretty good difference. It's a decent amount to go up, and the way that they kind of made items drop, it makes it a bit more of a grind to have to get to the level you want to be, which truthfully isn't a bad thing. A lot of the old updates, it was basically you can become max level within the day, which was a bit upsetting, especially for people who didn't play 24/7. It made it really hard for us to compete with other people when it came to the higher end tier stuff, because, you know, if you weren't playing 24/7 like these guys, you weren't going to be number one. Again, it's kind of the same thing, but even not as much, which helps out. Basically, blue Ingrams, which are your kind of rare equipment, can only go up to light level 340, while your legendary stuff, which is rarer than blue, basically will bring you up to 365. And to get to the max level, you're going to have to play and continuously grind to be lucky enough to get level gear, which will only drop a few light levels higher than your current stats. This is basically a way to feels like padding out the leveling system, and I truthfully don't mind it too much. That guy got pooped on. I don't mind it too much. I think it's a good way to continue allowing players to slowly grind up to their level to where they should be, instead of just instantly jumping to the highest level possible. Next thing I want to talk about in Rise of Iron, though, is the events that they have in it. So far, we've featured Trials of Osiris, Wrath of the Machine, the newest raid, and currently what I'm playing right now is Iron Banner, which is pretty good. It's PvP, and I would say it'd be much better if they didn't choose the new game type they added to be the main thing that everyone plays, because it's kind of a shotgun fest, which I really, really hate. For those of you who don't know, Destiny's PvP is kind of a shotgun, oriented meta, which is very, very annoying. And Supremacy is basically Call of Duty's Kill Confirmed, but for Destiny, and it really makes people bring out their shotguns, because it's all close quarters. You're gonna want to have your gun out, shotgun close, so you can pick up the orbs once you kill them and they drop. Like I was saying, Iron Banner is actually a really good idea. Sadly, I'm not a huge fan of the first game type, which has made my opinion on it kind of swayed in the other direction. Though I feel when they bring it back and it's a different game type, I may have a different opinion on it. So, we'll see when that happens. Trials of Osiris hasn't changed really at all. It's the same as it's been since year one. You go in, you get your stuff, you kill the guys, you go to the lighthouse. For those of you who don't know, Trials of Osiris is basically the high-end PvP thing for PvP people in Destiny. You basically win 9 games and lose 0, and you get to go to Mercury and claim that you're the best Destiny player in the world. Which, is totally a lie, but hey, whatever makes you happy. Lastly, we have the raid, which I don't want to spoil too much because there still are a lot of people, I feel like, who haven't done the raid or completed it, but I have to say, this is probably the best raid Destiny has ever seen, and gets me really excited for what Bungie has planned for Destiny 2 when it comes to raid-wise. The issue with Taken King's raid wasn't the bosses, wasn't how it played, wasn't glitchiness or anything at all. It was literally just the fact that it was probably too long. Taken King's raid was extremely long. It could take a while to complete, even for a very skilled team. and for a not skilled team, it could take a long time. Wrath of the Machine, though, kind of takes the other hand and makes the raid shorter, but gives you much more entertaining experiences. Some of these bosses in Wrath of the Machine are the funnest bosses I've ever faced, especially from what a lot of people have been calling the Death Zamboni. It was shown in the trailers a lot to kind of get you hyped for the raid, and truthfully, it's probably one of the best and coolest bosses in a video game I faced, and definitely one of the best raid bosses in Destiny. The final boss as well is a very, very well put together boss, bringing together a bunch of mechanics and a bunch of teamwork having to be done to be able to complete this boss. It's a great raid. It requires teamwork, communication, and a lot of effort and understanding of the game's controls, which is exactly what a raid should be. It should be a game taking all of the teammates and all your experience and requiring you to put it together and work as a team to complete it. World of Warcraft has been doing it for a while, and they've done a fantastic job at it, and Destiny and Bungie are finally kind of starting to learn what's required from a raid and how to put it together well. It doesn't have to be long. It doesn't have to have tons of crazy puzzles in it. It just has to be good. You just have to have some good bosses and, you know, a little bit of in-between here and there. And Wrath of the Machine does that so well. I would recommend buying Rise of Iron if you're a Destiny fan, literally just to experience the raid. It's fantastic. The next thing I should probably talk about is the new area that was added with Rise of Iron. The Taken King added a new area called the Dreadnought, and it was okay. It was filled with secrets. It had tons to do. Sadly, you couldn't ride your Sparrow in it, but it was a good experience that I enjoyed and plenty of other people found amusing for a while. Rise of Iron takes that and kind of doesn't really do anything with it. The Plaguelands is the newest area for Destiny, basically just expanding onto Earth. It allows you to go back to Earth and visit some areas that you've already explored, but are a little bit different with some secrets scattered around and some snow that you can walk around in. Everyone likes snow. Snow's cool! As you can tell, as I'm driving over it. Snow's fun. I like snow. It's pretty. Yeah. It also expands onto Earth as well, though, giving you some new areas to go and explore, like Ankern's Keep. And there's plenty of secrets to go around. It doesn't really expand on top of what the Dreadnought did when it comes to patrolling areas. It's your same thing. It's a nice big area. There's some secrets to find, hidden objects scattered around to pick up, and sadly, though, the scattered around objects don't really do anything like they did in the Dreadnought, allowing you to receive a let's call it raid exotic. This time it's just kind of, you know, collectibles. At least that's what we know so far. There hasn't been any quests relying on you to collect all of them, or no rewards for collecting all of them. Now, what I'm about to enter is called Ankern's Keep. It's, hey, look at this guy, Boner Lore. Hello, Mr. Boner Lore. I don't have a thing. Actually, maybe I do. Yeah, there we go. This is called Ankern's Keep, which basically requires you to enter the area with a bunch of your friends or random people like Boner Lore. It's not Boner Lore, but you know, it's Bone Lore. And defeat a bunch of enemies and eventually a boss appearing afterwards. It's a cool idea, sadly probably not as good as the Court of Oryx on the Dreadnought. The issue with this is that currently, to activate it, you have to have a specific item that has a very rare chance of dropping unless you do a specific bounty patrol, which was recently added in a patch. Before that, it was literally just up to luck if you found these items or not. And getting matched with teammates is kind of very hard. Yes, you can form a fire team of up to 3 people and enter here with your friends and do stuff, but some of the harder stuff really does require a team of 6 to beat the bosses sometimes, depending on how good your team is. It's kind of annoying that you can't just kind of go into the directory in the beginning and just choose this area to come to and be match made with 3 other people or even more. The other issue is that it's just kind of out of the way. I don't know if you could tell, but I had to like enter a building and go to a side area, and there's nothing really to explore when it comes to this area. It's just kind of off to the side, and if you happen to run into it, then you do. It's not like Court of Oryx where it's a centralized location in the Dreadnought that everyone's going to come to and see and just be like, hey look, there's something going on, let's go to that place and do that thing. This area you kind of gotta go out of your way and be like, hey, I wanna go there. But yeah, it's an area that you can't just kind of be like, hey, look, there's stuff going on and hop in. You have to go out of your way and then be lucky enough to join somewhere, join some people who are already doing it. It sucks in its own aspect, but it's a cool idea, and when it works, but when it doesn't really badly. That's the issue. So, that's Anchored's Keep. I like it. This guy just started this guy is definitely a bonalore. He is a big old boner. He just started one of the hardest matches, and, he just started one of the hardest matches, and we're definitely not going to be able to do it. So, you know, I'll probably cut back after we fail. Alright, hey people in stream. So yeah, this guy literally just started one of the hardest events in here, which usually requires, you know, 3 high-level people or, you know, 6 average people. And we're going to 2-man it, which totally isn't going to happen. But, you know, we'll see. I kind of hope we finish it, though, because if we do, then it would finish one of my bounties. Which is nice. Why won't you die?
Oh, man, what now? Heads up, the Fallen are up to something.
So how's everyone in chat doing? What's new? I'm gonna go grab this axe and fuck some bitches up. And by bitches I mean, you know, bitches. Like that guy there. Wow! We actually 2-manned that guy! Welcome back to the review! We just 2-manned a perfected, which, you know, I'm kinda surprised that we did. So, Anchor's Forge, like I said, when it works, and it's cool, and it's fun, and it's exciting. When it doesn't work, it's a piece of garbage, and it's really annoying. Now, before I mention that there's a reason kind of why Destiny Rise of Iron is the way it is. It wasn't actually supposed to exist. That's kind of it. Rise of Iron was thrown together as a emergency update that Bungie made us pay for some reason. They realized that they had to push Destiny 2 back. It just wasn't ready to be released quite yet. So they took it and they threw it, you know, back to 2017 in hopes to make it an amazing experience for all of us to enjoy, unlike in vanilla original Destiny. Now, that also meant that there would be no new updates for anyone playing Destiny 1 for a long time. And we'd already been waiting about a year for something to come out. So they started working on Rise of Iron as an emergency update to give us stuff to do until Destiny 2 came out. And I can understand that. I get it. I like Rise of Iron. It's given me stuff to do. It's given me more reason to play Destiny and come back to it, actually. Because I was not playing Destiny before Rise of Iron came out. It's a good update. It just doesn't add anything to the game. It's not like the Taken King. It doesn't bring anything new to the table. It literally just takes what Destiny was and adds more content on top of it. Which, if you're okay with how Destiny was, and you want to pay, you know, another $40 just for some more content, that's perfectly fine. You can drop the $40, but just don't expect a ton of new things. Don't expect anything amazing or fancy like the Taken King brought us. Expect the Taken King 2.0. Now, the biggest flaw and issue with Destiny Rise of Iron is the microtransactions. The Taken King brought us microtransactions in Destiny, which a lot of us were okay with. It was fine. You bought them to, you know, have a few new cosmetics or add a few new things to your character. Buy emblems and dances, and it was an interesting idea to allow for free updates to come along the way through the year. The issue is that those free updates weren't really anything amazing. They were more of holiday events, you know, Sparrow Racing League, something for Valentine's Day, and something for Halloween, which, yes, are cool, but you think microtransactions could bring a little bit more to the table than just a few special Halloween events. Or holiday events, let's put it that way. Besides that, it didn't really matter too much into the aspect of the game. It was seriously just, hi, let's have some dances and emotes that we can sell. Rise of Iron, though, takes it to a whole new level. They added in skins and stuff for your guns. And again, I wouldn't be fine. I'd be fine with this if you could just go into Destiny, go to the microtransaction marketplace, get your microtransaction money, and buy whatever skins you wanted. But that's not how Bungie decided to go about it. They decided that, hey, why don't we make it so if you want to get something, you have to buy a box that you can open that has a chance to randomly drop items. So basically, you're paying money to gamble on if you get the item you want or not. Which is kind of bullshit. I really wish they didn't do it like that. I wish it could have been any other way. But that's how they decided to go about doing it, and we just kind of have to deal with it. There has been a lot of petitions and a lot of people complaining about it and working their butt off to try to tell Bungie and convince them that, hey, this isn't what we want. We don't want microtransactions to be randomly gambling, and we don't want them to be us just having to, you know, risk our money on if we get the item we want or not. It's really annoying, especially since it feels like this is just the beginning. I don't want them to eventually start selling armor or weapons that, you know, improve our character and make it more of a pay-to-win environment. That's the last thing a lot of us Bungie people want who play Destiny, and I really hope it's something that Bungie wouldn't want themselves to create. It feels like they're kind of losing a lot of their, you know, Halo origins of, you know, make a good game and people will play it. It's more of a make a game and put microtransactions in it because of Activision, and people will pay the microtransactions and we won't have to worry about making a decent game. That's one of the main things I'm worried about when it comes to Destiny. I really hope that it does better when it comes to that in the future. Specifically Destiny 2, obviously. That's my biggest issue with the game. Besides that, Rise of Iron's okay. Is it worth $40? It's really up to you, I guess. I love Destiny, and I can say I've definitely gotten my $40 worth out of it. But if you're expecting something new and fancy, I'd say just sit back and wait for Destiny 2 to come out. That's when you'll be seeing your giant new worlds and expansions come to be. But again, if you're a new player to Destiny, this might be the best hopping in point for you. You might be coming into Destiny brand new with every single DLC for $60, which is a fantastic deal. You're getting 4 DLCs plus the vanilla game for your standard $60, $70 price tag. And I would say that is more than worth it. So, in aspects, if you're a big fan of Destiny, get the DLC. If you're not, if you're thinking about it, I would maybe hold back for now. And if you're a new player interested in Destiny, now is the perfect time to get in. Straight up, perfect time to get in if you're a new player. And that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Let me know in the comments below. And I'm gonna be setting a date for these kinds of videos that will allow you to kind of come back every maybe Monday at a specific time, and we can, or Tuesday at a specific time, and you guys can come and be part of the video. Talk in the comments and I'll reply to you. We can talk about our opinions back and forth. This is the first video and not a lot of people are expecting it, so there's not really anyone talking in the comments right now. But I feel like if I get a big group of people to come out and watch and be a part of it, this could be a really cool idea to communicate with the fans and have like a fan-oriented review. And if you're a Patreon, you can definitely come out too and maybe have a Skype chat with me and we can talk and everyone can listen to our conversation about, you know, whatever game I choose to review that week. So keep that in mind and just listen for any announcements that are coming on when this will be going on. Until then, I'll see you all in the next video. I'm gonna start talking again about the actual review itself. After, you know, I get shit on again. I got pooped on! I helped that guy get that kill, because I'm good. Where are you? I'm gonna kill you. Come over here. Oh, he used his super on my super. Let me kill this guy. Let me die. Excuse me, coming through. I want you to die. Like that. Hello? Hello, mister. My name's Axe. And I light you on fire.